Yo.
Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 124,
Three?
23,
Four?
20 something. I don't even know,
Five?
man. What episode is it? I really don't. I think it's 24.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds right.
Yeah, we'll
Let's
go
go
with
with
it. This
it.
is
Yeah.
episode, yeah, we're gonna go with 124.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man. You just got back from vacation. You took a little mini holiday,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving
I try to get out
vacation,
of Dodge for Thanksgiving because
ducking the family every year,
it's the
like
worst holiday ever.
like a true boss.
And yeah, I went down to Mexico City, which wasn't the original plan, but the flights got canceled and stuff because it's really hard to fly to Acapulco because it's almost as dangerous as St. Louis, apparently, as far
Really?
as murder rates are concerned.
Huh. That's
Um,
interesting.
so yeah, we flew into Mexico City, stayed the night there, and then drove down to Acapulco, which is about a 4-hour drive. Man, and the traffic in Mexico City, the roads in Mexico City, they're some of the
Crazy.
craziest I've ever seen. It was pretty wild.
How was it? Was it scary at all? Or
I mean,
was it
like,
cool?
after Vietnam, it's hard to get scared by a traffic situation, but it's definitely like, it's high adrenaline. And
No, I
it's
don't mean
exciting.
like scared as in like a wreck. I mean, is it like, is there ever spots where you're like nervous, you're fearful, you're like, man, this is crazy. I could totally get murdered right now and nobody would ever miss me.
That's
You
a
know what
really
I mean?
good question. Because so I watch the show called Long Way Up. Have you ever heard of it?
Uh-uh.
Okay, so Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so he did like a round the world motorcycle trip back in like 2000. Super interesting. That's called Long Way Around, and then they did like Jonah Groats to Cape Town like 4 years later. Called it Long Way Down, and then more recently they did the Long Way Up, which is from Patagonia to LA, but on electric motorcycles.
Okay.
And they drove through like Sudan and Egypt and all the terrible places, quote unquote, according to the media. No problems, right? Like even though people told them not to. But when they got to Mexico on this most recent iteration, they were so scared that they basically built a bus that they could put their motorcycles into, and then just rode the bus across Mexico because they're so afraid of like the cartels and
Really?
part of that route was part of the route that we did this last weekend. I mean, granted, he's famous, so like there's that, but getting kidnapped or whatever. But I don't know.
It's
You
nutty.
could-
So
you-
it definitely crossed your mind.
Yeah, it definitely crossed my mind. But honestly, no. Like it didn't feel like places looked like sketch, but I mean, there's no weird behavior or anything like that. And there's definitely, there's just trucks full of soldiers, and they get the cop cars that are trucks with turrets in the back. That's just
crazy.
common
The first time
Mexico.
you see that, you're just like, wow,
Yeah.
what the hell?
That's
And
like
they have masks and stuff on
Yeah.
too. They have like, so
gas mask.
you
Yeah.
couldn't even see the guy that's murking
Right.
you. Like you would just, just
So-
a guy in a ski mask, pretty much.
The interesting thing though was to see, we live here in the States, which is we're pretty bad when it comes to the corona, as far as like safety and common courtesy towards your fellow man and stuff like that. But Mexico's like, I saw one person without a mask the entire time I was there, and it was like a street vendor, and he'd like just woken up or something like that. And you go into Walmart, like everyone, they had the temperature scanners, the hand sanitizer, they had the the marks on the floor, and there's someone walking around like to enforce everyone stood the 6 feet apart, and
Right.
only so
That's
many
crazy.
people could be allowed in, and like it was. I mean, they're way better, than we
Yeah, I
are.
went to Walmart just the other day too. I drove several hours to go to a Walmart to pick up something that was, the only one that had it within like 100 miles of me, a gift for Christmas, right?
Sure.
So I drive for like an hour and a half to this Walmart, and I'm just thinking the whole time, I'm like, dude, this shit's not going to be here. Like they're lying to me because I did an online order, and I waited until it said your order is ready for pickup.
Sure.
Until I was like, okay, so somebody physically got it. I should be good, right?
Mm.
So I drive for the hour and a half. I get down there, but ended up getting the item. But the thing is I walked in this Walmart. It's like in the country podunk town, and like, dude, nobody. They had their masks on, but like people had them pulled underneath their chins.
Yeah.
They had their noses hanging out. They were just like,
Drives me nuts.
this lady's like walking right in front of me, like she's like, oh, excuse me, let me cut through here real quick, and I'm just like, fucking come on, like back up. God damn, dude. It was nuts, man. I'm just sitting here thinking like it's a different world out here, man. It's not they just act like it doesn't exist. Not a big deal.
It's wild to me how much ignorance there is around masks. Like obviously you see people wearing masks all wrong all the time, but like I was sitting on the bus, so we like park in like economy parking. It's like $7 a day, and then you take the bus to the airport, right? And so like there's this husband and wife, and they're sitting like face to face with each other, and every single time they'd say something to each other, they pull their mask down and like say it, and then cover their face back up, and then the other person would pull their mask down and like have the conversation.
Yeah,
like you guys understand how this works.
I saw that too. I was watching TV. I was watching ESPN, and so like it was an NFL game, right? And so I'm watching this NFL game, and I don't remember which one it was, man. There was a couple games on this weekend, but one of the games had like people in the stands, and then the second game had nobody in the stands. And I'm thinking like both NFL games, it must be like city rules and regulations. And then I see one of the coaches on the sideline, and he's got his mask on, and he gets pissed off, and he starts yelling at the referee. And he takes his mask off to yell at the referee. And I'm just like, you just defeated the whole purpose of having the mask. Like, why did you even put it back on? Because he puts it back on when he's done. I'm like, why did you even put it back on, dude? Right. Like, you've already, if you have the sickness, you've already spread it to everybody. People are yelling. It's just funny. Like, I don't really care if he has it on or off at the game because I'm not going. But the fact that he just takes it off to yell, it's like, dude, do you not realize what's going down when you do that? It's funny. Yeah, man. It was crazy going to different countries and seeing the turret trucks though. I was like, oh shit. That's the thing. Have I ever told you the story? And I'm not gonna get into it, I'm gonna save it, but have I told you the story about when I bought my vet in Chicago and I had 20 G's in cash on me?
No.
Oh man, I got a great story, dude. This is a crazy story. I'll save it though. Okay. We'll save it for story day of the podcast. Just remind me don't let me forget to tell this some week, someday. It's crazy. So,
yikes.
Yeah.
Let's get into polls.
Some video games, man.
Right?
Yeah. Let's do some pollage from last week.
So this is kind of my fault. Not a lot of people probably had the opportunity to answer this poll because I unfortunately didn't get the podcast encoded before I left. It was 95% of the way done when I left for the airport. So it's kind of SOL. And then I uploaded it as soon as I got back. And YouTube like kept getting it stuck in that like 95% processed mode. That's
weird.
I hate that so much. And then you just have to re-upload it. There's nothing you can do. I had to do that twice, which was fantastic.
Yeah, it kills the net.
Yeah. But yeah, so last week we asked, should the fourth cube slot remain after season 22? And I think you and I are both a little bit of ingredients here is that it does make the game a little bit more spicy. It's more exciting. I think we're both just a little worried about the constant power creep that's happening and that 150 hard cap that we have facing us. So
and server lag and instability. I'm gonna say I vote no. Like I think we both talked about it. So I'm gonna hope that people voted no too. As much as it's hard to not emotionally vote yes because it's fun. So
yeah, I don't know. I had to say yes from a build diversity perspective. And would just hope for kind of like a universal nerf, which is never gonna happen, but
right.
69% or 86% of the vote says yes. 14% of the vote says no. There it
is. That just leads up a series of questions, man.
Sure.
It just makes me wonder if those people that vote yes, if they're just like F balance, they don't care anymore. Are you over it? Because I guess there's a point where you can just give up and just like, let's just have fun with the game and just do whatever's broken. I don't even care, if those guys are like, yes, but we really need to balance if we do it, or they just like, yeah, do it, man. I don't even care. It's fun.
Honestly, it's weird to see even where I've come on that issue. And just in the time that we've been doing this podcast, because we go to BlizzCon 2018. And I remember like, I had a moment where I was like, why? Like, just balance. Like everything should be balanced. And I chewed the guy's ear off, for like 15 minutes over
like an hour. It was like an hour, dude. And I was looking over for help.
He's like, fucking hell, this guy. Like, shut up about balance. And the more I played POE and the more I saw that, POE like really doesn't give a shit about balance. And it seems like the more popular seasons, it's about balance being thrown out the window. And it's just like, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, if we don't care about leaderboards in Diablo 4 and then we don't patrol the leaderboards for botting, do I necessarily care that, the whole focus of Diablo 3 should be the competitive aspect, which I still believe it should be. But at the end of the day, I guess, it should just be about playing cool builds. And I don't know. I've completely not necessarily changed my opinion, but I've given up, right? I've thrown in the towel. So
yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. I think balance should be a thing, but at this point, it's just let's just break stuff and make it fun because balance isn't there. And it's honestly to a point I think my biggest my biggest campaign for the game right now is a stat squish.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I'm probably going to talk about until either it happens or the game's gone because we're playing D4. But the stat squish needs to happen. I feel so bad because their server lag's crazy. There's all the issues I talk about all the time. So we can pull up old clips of that if we need to. But it's just the server instability and balance and lag needs to go. And I think a stat squish fixes all that.
Yeah,
so.
But it's not when we say stat squish, we're not really. I mean, obviously, it would be the dream if we could have a proper World of Warcraft stat squish, but it's not necessarily a stat squish per se. It's more of a global nerf.
Yeah, it's a global nerf on every single thing. So nobody's haha, I made it out. It's no, everything's everything's doing level greater rift 50.
Yep.
So man, there's so many things that does, and maybe it would feel bad after what we've had. I don't know, because if you did the global stat squish, let's say that we're pushing 50s again or 60s, we're speeding 50s, right?
Yeah.
Think about what that does to the game as far as okay, your Paragon's now going to be more manageable. It's not going to be as big as it is. But on top of that, even your power level is going to go down because you're not going to be farming as many legendaries per hour.
Mm-hmm.
You cap out, I think it's greater rift 90, you cap out at 12. So anything below that, you're going to get less. So if you're only doing 50s, you're only getting 6-7 items a rift instead of 12 items a rift. So your drops per hour go way down too. I think that makes the game more fun, man. I think the fun in Diablo is the power creep that you get from those upgrades. And if you drag that process out a little bit, you can get a couple more weeks of enjoyment.
Yeah.
I personally feel like.
The only caveat, so say they did the universal nerf and we're all happy. It's, to me, they have to pull back the torment levels because they need to cap it to where it's easy to run the top one, basically, in my opinion.
You couldn't have 16s.
Right. Because then everyone's you're literally just playing meta 24/7 because you want, the most juice.
We're rat running T16.
Yeah. That'd be fucking terrible.
That was, oh my God, dude. If they did a global nerf, at that point, I would hope in that they would address rat runs.
Right.
And by address it, I mean bring it down a little bit and bring something else or multiple things up to that level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, goddamn, doing rats on rats for keys and then keys with the rats. That would be the worst, man. We couldn't even stomach it for the season start.
No.
You know what I mean? That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
So,
and then the poll for next week is, have you guys been getting hit with the random desktop crashes or freezing in Diablo 3 this season? Yes or no? Which is
this is a little we can hit this one a little bit. Have you?
Yes. In fact, I've got a couple posts here. This one's eloquently titled "Blizzard, Get Your Shit Together" or something like that. But it kind of shows kind of what's happening. For some reason, this decided not to load all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's the way it always goes on Reddit.
There it goes.
It always breaks during podcasts.
But this is happening a lot. This actually happened maybe an hour before the podcast started to me several times.
This is another thing that I kind of want to talk about someday. This person's clearly playing on an ultra wide.
Right.
Look at all the extra real estate they get from side to side.
It's pretty crazy.
How much benefit do you think they get from that in a push? I mean, that's extra map.
Yeah.
That they can see. That's direction. That's that's the dead end. They can see it quicker and sooner.
Right.
And yeah, those extra freezes suck. I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, that's just the advantage of hardware, the hardware that you purchased, I guess. But ultra wides are an interesting thing. So,
but yeah, it's bad. It's definitely bad. It's I dug a little into it, and apparently it's a thing. With the sound, very similar to what the Path of Exile had this thing for a while. too, where it's if you just like disabled the sound, not just turned off the sound or muted the sound, but if you actually like went into your config and just like disabled the sound, it would like basically fix all lag issues. And so it's kind of the same thing with Diablo 3 right now. I guess they're having the same issue where it's looking for a sound and it can't find it, so it basically just like locks up your game multiple times, which sucks.
I haven't had any of that. I haven't had any of the freezing. I did have a couple client desktop crashes though, and that's frustrating, man. That's like, really? Come on, because it's historically been super stable. I can probably count on one hand the number of times it's desktop crashed ever. And this season, as I've had probably as many this season as I've had ever. You know.
Yeah, so. I've had the crashes. I don't know. I feel like I've had it pretty regularly for a few seasons now, but this freezing is. I don't remember. Like, apparently, it's been seeing things since last season. I don't remember getting hit with it.
PTR, when I was testing PTR, I desktop crashed a gazillion times. I mean, there was a point in the stream where I would go in and crash in every desktop crash in every rift.
Wow.
For hours. I was like, what the hell? You know, and so so the desktop crashing thing's new. I don't know what was happening in PTR that's not there. It's not as bad on retail, but it's still there for me, whatever it is. So
yeah.
But yeah,
it's bad.
Interesting. So I'm curious, you know, with the poll, if you guys are having the same issues, or is this getting blown out of proportion? I guess. So.
Yeah, seems like there's a lot of people getting hit by it. And then I kind of want to talk about how's your season going, P? Like what's up? Talk to me.
It's going good, man. So listen, Friday night we got to 850 Paragon, and then Saturday I got to like 1100. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And that was a great season. It was good. Monday rolled around, and this little thing called Shadowlands dropped, and it's consumed my life.
Sure.
It's got its claws in deep as ever.
We'll hang on. Just pump the brakes on the WoW talk until the WoW section. But yeah,
how's
you know,
your season going?
It was honestly, it was very similar to last season to me, because last season I was having a really good time. We had a lot of new builds. It was kind of exciting. You know, we had Poison Sight to push with, maintaining rank 1, you know, for the first however long, and then I have to go on vacation. So it's like it's that really kind of feel bad. Like, it's really fun to kind of stay on top of the boards, and you know, we left the season last Wednesday on top, but you know, we come back 5-6 days off, and we're 1,500 Paragon points behind. So it's like it's just an comeback. Like the gap's too big, right? It's over.
Yeah,
which really sucks.
And the thing about it is there's a couple ways to look at this and break it down. There are some people out there that are just literally face grinding rat runs all day, every day. And to those people, you earned it. You did it. It's cool. Congratulations. And then there's also bots that are doing it. And it's like, if those people, you suck, and you know, I wish bad things upon you. So that's why I think this is just more reinforcement for the mini seasons, because you know, even people like content creators like ourselves, if we can go hard for a weekend, we can go hard for a week, right?
Fuck yeah.
I could, if there was a mini season and you're like, all right, P, we're gonna fucking rat run 14 hours a day. I'd be like, okay, let's do it. I can do it once every 6 months. I can do it once every year. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So all right, so for that 6 months, man, we're gonna 14-hour rat run for the whole week just to see what we could do. I'd be down. But to do it for 3 weeks or 3 months, I mean, 3 months for what reward? For no reward? It's just like, why? You're literally insane. Like you're an insane person.
Right. And you always get that one guy in chat, you know, it's like early season maintaining rank 1, and I get another rank 1, and someone chat's like, early season pushing a mega wall. It's like, that's all Diablo 3 is now. Like, there's not that I'm going to stay rank 1 all season for the full 3 months. Like, that just doesn't happen anymore. It's like 0.05% maybe of the population that even considers playing past a month. So,
right. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. But I will say, right, so it's been pretty nutty as far as experience. So like if you look at say someone who has been grinding rats all season, they're up to like 123 rats, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, really solid clears, really fast. But if you look at like this season for a necro, I'm doing 115s and 2.5 solo. That's insane. That's like rat tier level of past seasons. Mm-hmm. So if you're like that solo player, like, oh my God, this is the season to be a necro. The Bone Spear is just insanely good. Ice Spear, like clearing 2.5 minutes, like 115s. And I fully assume if I got fully augmented and got like 2K Paragon, I could do 120s. 120 solo 3 minute. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Something else the stat squish does? What's that? You're talking about 120 augments?
Yeah.
You're only doing 60 augments.
Right, true.
Listen, I'm going to break this down for people in case you never thought about this. You're spending a fraction of the time augmenting your characters out on that stat squish. You're getting so much time back, even though you're going to clear a little slower and clearing a little lower and have less loot per hour. Man, those augments would feel so good.
Yeah.
To not have to grind up those keys.
Yeah.
Or those gems. So
true. Yeah, I mean, I'm still having a good, like, if ever there's a season where like I could come back and just like we'll just grind some rest, right? Like no big deal. I'm not really pushing the boards anymore because I can't really keep up. But just like log in and play. I mean, it's actually a pretty good season for that because you can get just insane amounts of Paragon just for like solo speed farming, which is not really the case in the past.
Yeah,
so that's pretty interesting. But if we're taking a look at the boards, kind of want to do a week 2 synopsis of like what's going down. Necro is already at a 143 NA. I know it's even further in EU. So that's pretty crazy. One more week, it'll probably be 150s.
The 3,000 Paragon mark is probably when people are going to start doing it. Where are they at right now?
I think the highest dude here is 2,700.
Yeah, so probably, like you're right, probably in a week or less, you'll see people starting to knock them out. So,
and then Barb, we're at a 132 with Whirlwind, about 2,700 Paragon. Crusader, we're at 139. And I think there's been somebody that's pushing with the bomb setup. Yeah. Pretty close between bomb and FOV. They're like neck and neck, which is cool to see.
Yeah. I wonder if the bomb feels decent or not.
Yeah, it must. Or they're playing some crazy gimmicky where you like pull the whole map Whirlwind style or something like that.
Right. Well, like Thorns didn't play. Thorns Necro played like crap and people still pushed it.
Yeah, so. True. DH 138. No question it's going to be God, probably.
Yeah. Fucking stupid. There's no reason to even look.
Right. Monk 135, pretty far behind everybody else. Paj, Shenlong's.
Yeah.
Witch Doctor, obviously going to be Nugu 134. Yep. And then finally Wizard. Is this still Twister? Yeah. LOD Twister. I haven't even seen this played.
With Death Wish, oh man, it's horrible. It's like there's like some kind of double dipping mechanic on Death Wish where you can like click and unclick and click again, and it like stutter steps it, and then it gets doubles.
Is that how this is working?
For a second, or some shit. There's some really really weird, crappy Death Wish mechanics. So I think as long as Death Wish is like that this will always be this will be the top build for Wizard this season, because it's just. Yeah, I don't know the details of it exactly, but I've been told that there's a stutter step bug where you can stutter step it really quickly.
Damn.
And it applies twice, or I don't know.
But 2-player, we've already got 150 clears. 3-player obviously is going to, we had 150 clears in 4-man week 1, which is just, it's so ridiculous.
2 days in or
Look
something.
At that. 4-player, week 2, a 6-minute 17 GR150. Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But have fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy. This again, more stats squish.
I always wanted a speed leaderboard, but I never assumed to be GR1 effing 50.
You just got to play one of those sets and then you're good, right? Then you get your speed board.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of the TLDR of the leaderboards right now.
Yep.
Which brings me to, another point, and someone posted this, and I get it. Like this guy posts, I'm so proud I made it to rank 1 on the solo leaderboard. He's a monk. Granted, not a lot of players play monk probably, but it just feels good. There's something about, pushing the leaderboard, getting a high rank. It just, I don't know, man. There's nothing in Path of Exile or any ARPG that I really have played that matches that feeling. And it's really the reason I still come back time and time again to Diablo 3 is just can't get that feeling of competition really, for me anyways, from other ARPGs. So it's just something about it. Something about being the best.
It's good. It's like, and I think there is a competition thing that relates. I was playing Apex with my son this weekend, and we got some wins in Apex, and like something about that thrill of getting the win. Like of this lobby, we beat everybody, and it feels good. So it's the same.
Yeah.
Those little moments that make it feel good.
And you play 10 where you die immediately.
Yeah, right. Like instantly, right? But it's that one though. Like when you have the plays, like because usually to get the one, something good has to happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you have to get in some kind of exchange, and then you won somehow. You did the move or did the thing. But yeah, it's Diablo 4 is not going to have that leaderboard, man. So we got to get those moments. Those PvE moments exist though, and here's an example. So I hate to go there. This is what I've been playing though. I was doing Mythic Zeros with Dusky today. So we were both playing. Dusky was tanking. I was healing. D took your spot, Fluff, because you didn't play this.
He took my spot, and he's probably Vengeance, right? That 2 times.
Yeah, he is actually. Yeah, he is. He was you, man. He should have been you. So we're sitting there and we're going and we're doing this. We're doing what we think is the hardest mythic in the game. Some are easy, and there's this one that's the final boss is just fucking hard, man. And we wiped on it like 2 or 3 times, and we're talking about it. And so we get to the end, and all the DPS stands in dumb shit and dies. And so it's just Dusky and I alive, and the boss is at 17%. Like all they had to do was like one person stay alive, we'd be fine. But everybody dies. And so we're heal tanking this thing from 19% down to 0. We're not dying. And it was one of those epic win moments. And so like my cooldowns are about to come up. Like Dusky's like, I'm out of cooldowns. And I'm like, fuck, I'm out of cooldowns. I'm out of mana. I got nothing left for you, dude. And I'm watching my cooldown counter go 3, 2, 1. I hit the cooldown and I die midway. So it got a little juice off. And he ends up beating it with no HP. And it was just like, it was one of those cool epic win moments,
Sure.
So you can still get those in PvE, and they feel really good too. But there's something about the PvP aspect that makes it just a little bit sweeter.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Just saying it could have been you.
We'll get to it in a sec. Okay. Chill out on your WoW, the shield child. All right. Get your sponsorship out of here.
Getting that BlizzCon ticket.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. So we kind of talked about this weeks ago. Diablo got a third community manager, Tom Powers, but he kind of finally made his debut post, right?
What up, Tom?
So yeah, welcome Tom to the community. He said, "My name's Tom. He came from Overwatch. For you, a lot of you guys didn't know. He said I wanted to briefly introduce myself and express how excited I am to join these forums. For Overwatch in the past, I've often engaged in daily and coordinated the developers to address pressing issues impacting the game. I believe that type of interaction and transparency makes platforms such as these a special place, and I, along with my teammates, will aspire to do the same here on the Diablo front." So good experience, good background, and sounds dedicated to getting things fixed, which sounds great.
Cool.
He also goes on to say, because nobody's perfect, right, that he's a big fan of lore and story.
Oh, man. Oh, Tom.
Yikes, right?
Tom. You got some making up to do for that post, Tom.
Right. No, but it sounds like he's passionate about Diablo 4, which is really cool. So,
yeah.
And then someone found this post part funny that said, like, someone said, "Wow, no offense, but after Nevelistis is gone, Blizzard had to hire 3 guys to take over her job." It's just like, oh my god, dude, chill the f out.
Did Fez respond to that?
Yeah, Fez is like, usually when someone writes, quote, "no offense," they mean to be offensive. Get a good answer.
There was a big void that needed to be filled as far as like, man, I don't even know how to word it, but there was there were other needs that needed to be addressed. So regardless if Nevelistus would have stayed or wouldn't have stayed, I think the other hires would have probably happened anyways.
Yeah.
Because there were other things that needed to be done that one person couldn't take care
Sure.
of. And on top of that, you need different eyes on things. Like it's one CM can't watch all the YouTube videos and all the streamers and answer community forum posts, Reddit posts. Like there's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Like there's so much shit, and one person can't cover it all, and so you only have one viewpoint or sometimes a narrow viewpoint. So the more the better, man.
Totally, I completely concur. And so far, Rich and Pez have been really awesome. So
they've been hella cool. So to work with. So
yet another one. Keep them coming.
Yep. 3 or 4
maybe
more.
If they hire like 12, like maybe they'll watch our stream sometimes. Who knows?
Maybe.
Let's get crazy.
Cool.
And then and then on kind of walking down memory lane, this guy had a post on Reddit about he was kind of cleaning out his non-seasonal tab, and he had some interesting things in there that I haven't seen in a long time. He had all these old crafting materials. Do you remember this time in Diablo 3 where you had to go to a specific zone and look for like a rare spawn? And
I don't remember exactly what it was I used to craft, but there was something. Maybe it was all golds back in the day. Was that good? I don't know, but you definitely had to go to Act 3, Bridge of Cossack, and go into a cave and go to the second level of the cave. And sometimes the rare spawn would be in there, and you'd kill it, and you'd get the item to craft some shit. I can't even remember what it was.
Right.
But I definitely remember farming that specific guy and being like, FML, this sucks.
yeah. What do you kind of think about it? So like Diablo 2, a big thing obviously is like, oh, I want a thing, so I go farm a specific zone. So I log into the game, I go there, and then I farm it, and then I log out, and I go there, and I farm it. And it's kind of like that a little bit in D3, but on top of that, there was like RNG where it's like, I'm going to go to the zone, I'm going to go farm it, and hopefully the guy's there that I want, and he'll hopefully drop the part that I want. What do you think about this? So what if they had that set up in more of like a rift sort of fashion where, you knew that there was a guy that you needed in a specific zone, but it wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to port there, I'm going to like rush straight to it, but like you had to like actually like maybe kill the things and like.
So maybe they used a tile type, like they used like that stupid, I don't know what the name of it is, but that candle, the zone that has no density. It's the new zone with no density, and it has candles by the door. Yeah, Shroud. God, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Maybe they take one of those no density levels and put like, when you get this level, that there could be a chance that your spawn's there that you need.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't. I see both sides of it, because if there's nothing to ever chase, then what are you doing? Like you're just playing. Let's go fall asleep playing Rifts because that's where everything comes from. But at the same time, it's like the Borderlands style or the POE style of log out, make a new game. Go farm the guy, don't get the drop. Log out, make a new game. Go farm the guy, don't get the drop. So like that sucks too, man. What's a better system? I don't,
PoE does a pretty good job. Is like, you kind of just grind the game. I'm sure PoE has its like very specific, like you go and spawn this boss. Like I think there's a few items in the game that are like that in a very specific zone. But it feels like for the most part in Path of Exile, you're just kind of like grinding the game, and then things just happen, like like you like you just said, that you all of a sudden like you're running risks, and all of a sudden you get the Shroud of Moors, which in this hypothetical world means you get like a special boss spawn or something like that, and maybe he drops something. That's more interesting to me than like I'm gonna log in, log out, go to that zone, shit, he's not there, log in, log out, go to that zone, oh my god, he's there, I didn't drop it, log out, go to that zone. Like that, I hate that. Like I actually just can't stand that style of gameplay. So as long as it like feels organic, you're not doing like the same thing literally just nonstop, it's so much better.
Yeah, well, doing the same thing as in farming the same area or loading the same map. I think doing the same thing as in farming end-game activity like Greater Rifts feels better-ish, but we just need more of those activities.
Right.
So we don't know about D4's other activities. It's endgame. We just know dungeons. That's really all we know about so far. I'm gonna bet money there's a Greater Rift system in there.
Dungeons are basically Greater Rifts. They're keys.
Yeah, but yeah. Kind of.
I mean, they are.
Well, okay. So you go to the same place to go to it. Okay. And then it's going to have a same tile type every time. It's going to be randomly generated, but it's the same tile type.
Yeah.
So you're taking out some of the RNG of A, you're not queuing it straight from town. B, your tile type's not randomly generated. But other than that, yeah, I think it's a small greater rift, I assume.
And you get a key with modifiers on it, like Path of Exile style. So.
Yeah. So I assume there's going to be a big one in town that they're just going to queue. I think greater rifts are going to straight up be in Diablo 4. Like,
and that's not a bad. Like, I think they shouldn't call it greater rifts. You know, I don't think they should.
They can't.
Yeah, they should never pull anything from D3 because there's that. A lot of people don't like D3, but like we said 100 times over, it's not that rifts and greater rifts are bad. It's just like that's all we're doing, actually. Right?
Yeah, it's a fucking system that carried for 4 years, 5 years on its own.
Right.
Like, I think it's actually probably one of the best end game systems ever developed, but we're just sick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would assume that we have multiple end games and we could go do any of the end games to get most of the things we need. Maybe there's some specifically targeted pieces and a certain end game, like, you know, dungeons only drop the crafting material. I don't know, man. Having to keep reloading into the game and doing the same dungeon over and over to get an item drop would kind of feel bad, I think.
Yeah. You know what would feel even worse is if Diablo 4 had like lockout timers and shit like that. Oh my god. Time gates.
That's a whole. See, I don't hate that as much, but it depends on how much they utilize it.
You want to like log in another character just to run like a certain dungeon again?
No, because items need to be specific. If items are transferable between characters, then that system doesn't even work inherently. It's already dead. So if you're going to have lockout timers on a dungeon, let's say a piece of loot, just like we'll just say they just copied like a WoW Mythic, right? You got a lockout timer on the dungeon. The dungeon bosses each have specific loot that they drop. And if you don't get it that day, you got to go back tomorrow or go back, you know, next week, depending on what it is. So if you can make alt characters and then trade that same loot you just got to your other character, then why do you have the lockout timer? That defeats the purpose, you know? So it has to be character.
I don't know,
sold on.
Lockouts feel like a shady.
Feel kind of bad too, but then at the same time, then you got to make drop rates super low if there's no farming, right?
I don't know.
So would you rather? Okay, there's no lockout timer. Let's say that you have to get 9 pieces of gear to make your character juiced up, right? Get a fresh, brand new character, and you're like, "Hey, P, just made this new character. Carry me in some dungeons for a little bit." Like, okay. So I go run you through dungeons, and we're trying to get you a weapon that drops from this dungeon, and we can sit there and literally spam the dungeon until the weapon drops, and we spam it, you know, for 4 hours, and we finally get the drop. And it's like, okay, P, I need a helmet now. Let's go spam this dungeon and give me a helmet. Is that better?
No, and that's like what you're describing right now is the problem with Blizzard games. Is that ultimately you're after a best in slot, blank. And that sucks. In Path of Exile, SSF, you don't feel that at all. Like you're like making the best pair of shoulders you can possibly make for yourself. You can always upgrade it and you always get a better one later on or something like that. It's always like you know, maybe you can get a Conqueror modifier or something like that, and it's just even better. And there's that constant chase because there's nothing like, oh, I get this, now that slot is done. And
so
Blizzard suffers from that so bad.
If you need your shoulders in Path of Exile, how do you go target those shoulders and do it? You put modifiers on maps, or what are you doing to get those shoulders, or is it just play and pray?
It's both, right? So you can get like inherently you can get natural like really good drops. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. You can search for bases like a high eye level, you know, pair of like leather shoulders, and you can craft on that if it's a good enough base to hit the implicitcy you want, or you can get like a special influence like Elder Shaper or Conqueror base. Like, oh, cool, I can try to hit something with some craft spamming on it. It's just there's so much more you can do with itemization.
So you got to get over the drop system that Blizzard games inherently have and go and add some crafting.
Yeah,
to where you can make it.
Totally.
So then you're just farming the materials to do the crafting, and that can come from anywhere,
right.
Anytime, anywhere, any place.
Which goes back to that, you know, that David Kim quote where Quinn was like, "Hey, are you going to be able to like craft, you know, on rares and blues?" And he's like, because there's too much choice, question mark. And that was it's just scary, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, like can Blizzard even get away from that system of best in slot? It seems to be like they're kind of their thing. Is Shadowlands kind of pointing that direction as well?
Yeah, cool. Well, it's WoW. So WoW's, this is, they didn't reinvent the wheel with WoW. It's the same game, but it's fucking good. But it's the same game. So I mean, we'll hit up the Shadowlands stuff. But yeah, there's best in slot. But right now, everybody needs anything. So it's like, I'm doing an M plus. I got a weapon today, and when the weapon dropped, is it best in slot? Nope. But is it a hell of an upgrade? Yep. And it was awesome. It's like, oh yeah, so but it's still the same stuff. Yeah, I agree. Crafting is an avenue that I don't think that I've played a game that had some robust crafting systems like PoE. I've never played anything else but PoE that has crafting like PoE, because Diablo 3 there's no crafting. WoW, there's no real crafting. And those are the two big grindy games that I play, and even I'm trying to think of anything. What other games did Wolcen have any crafting? I
was actually just about yeah. I mean, Wolcen had some decent crafting. It's definitely not like PoE tier. If PoE's S tier, like Wolcen was like B tier, but it's still I remember way better than
had some stuff. Yeah,
Diablo.
But it's kind of faded from my memory. There's a big Wolcen update coming out.
Yeah, we actually forgot to put that in the schedule. So Wolcen, see if I can find the name of it. It's like Bleeding Trail or something like Wolcen. Big content.
I don't know much. Do they have a trailer for it?
Blood Trail. I don't know if they have a trailer for it or not. I think they just had like a photo.
That's cool.
And they said that their goal is like it's gonna come before the end of the year. Surprisingly enough,
they should drop it on December the 10th.
No.
Totally
wouldn't surprise me coming from Wolcen, because they've done some pretty dumb stuff.
Yeah. That's interesting. So we can check it out, and we don't have TDLR or TLDR on it, but unless you have read it and you can summarize.
A little bit, like, so it's a content update. It's kind of it's unofficially like probably season 1 for Wolcen, because you're not going to be able to play your old characters in this new update. So it's kind of like a fresh start. From what I hear, there's new skills
and get rid of the craft or the materials and stuff. I guess people had like crazy maps.
Yeah, reset the market and all that stuff too. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. There's new skills that come with it, new stuff, new zones, new bosses. I mean, I'm intrigued. I'll probably give it a shot, because if you boil it down, I enjoyed my build in Wolcen. I did suck that there's only like 2 ways to scale your damage and nothing worked and blah blah blah. But I mean, if they come out, the only chance this has is if they come out with this and there's little to no bugs. And if there are bugs, if they don't turn around and get them fixed like the week after that, if they do that tiny little baby update like once a week, because that's all they can do or whatever, I still don't understand that. That doesn't make sense. So weird.
It's a cop out.
Yeah, totally. And if they don't do it, like, this game's totally dead.
I will tell you that Wolcen, what killed Wolcen for me 100% was the skill tree. When I would pick passives on the skill tree and they literally didn't work.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, here's my idea. This is what I want to do. These skills should support that idea. And I've done the thing, and now I'm not doing any damage. And then it's like, okay, so why am I going to keep theory crafting when the shit I come up with may not even work? Then I'm wasting my time. Like, I'm wasting hours and hours of time putting into this. And so I wanted to go with a pet build initially in Wolcen. So I started throwing this pet build together, and it was like, this is doing no damage, like 0 damage. I don't understand. Like, it should be doing crazy damage, right? Yeah. It's doing nothing. What the fuck's and then I find out, these talents are broken. I'm like, okay, well, that's okay. Next, So I'm like, well, I'll come back when they fix it. And then they didn't fix it for weeks. And I'm like, well,
months, really.
I'm like, I'm peacing out, dudes. That was,
Yeah, that's wild to touch on what you said. Like, if you didn't play it, literally, like, I would say 50% of the notable passives on the skill tree straight up did not work, which is
Like
insane.
nothing. It was like, are you kidding? Like, and you don't know they don't work until you're
Yeah.
hitting on stuff, and you're just
I
like,
don't
I
feel any
don't.
difference, right?
How is this doing it? Like, there's no way. Is this
Yeah.
working? It can't be working.
And that's terrible.
And then-
What a terrible feeling to have. It's just like I've worked up. There's this excitement to get the thing that I got, and then I don't even like to not have that trust in the game that it's actually working at all.
Yeah, exactly.
terrible.
And then, you know, yeah. I will credit Wolcen, man. Their boss fights were brutal and it was fun. Especially like I beat the second campaign boss with my pet build that did 0 damage. And the way I beat the boss was I literally had to flawless the boss. I had to never get hit in order to beat the boss. And it was when I did it, it took me like an hour. But when I did it, I was like, it felt so fucking good, man. I was like, yes. Because everybody's like, dude, you're not going to do it. You got to respect. You can't. I'm like, nope, I'm just not going to get hit. Watch.
Yeah.
So it was fun, man. The boss fights in that game were good. And then I always think about that post that the guy made. He's like, unfollowed, unsubbed Riker. I can't believe you told me that it's Riker's fault the game was hard for this guy. I'm just like, what the hell, man? It was so funny.
Yeah, I still haven't forgiven Riker for making me buy the game personally, but
yeah, it's totally Riker's fault.
Yep.
So I'm waiting for my check record.
Yeah. And then all right, go ahead and turn on your World of Warcraft. We're going to talk about POE for a second here. So Path of Exile is doing some sales. We're kind of late to the sea on this because they announced it late last week with the Thanksgiving, but they're still doing some sales right now, and you can click on their site and see what's on sale or whatever if you're into any of that. But what's more interesting is they're kind of showing you a gear preview of that endless delve thing that we talked about, where you start in delve, like level 1 delve. You don't even get to go to maps. You don't get to do anything. You're just in delve. And so they're going to give you like kind of starter gear, which is interesting.
So when you do this delve and you get cosmetics from it, like are there rewards to it, like cosmetic rewards to the delve thing?
Yeah, to all the mini leagues they have cosmetics. Yeah.
So if you get the cosmetics, can you then use those in the next league, the cosmetic portion?
Yeah, once you get a cosmetic in PoE, it's unlocked forever. It's
good forever. Mm-hmm. Like they don't string them out by season. Yeah. That's cool. Our league. Cool.
Yeah, but you can see like the starting stuff, so you can get an idea for maybe what build you want to run or whatever, and start theory crafting that. But super interesting. If you guys don't know, basically they're doing an endless delve. I can't. It was December 11th is when that one starts, which unfortunately I'll be out of town for. But super interesting. You start in the delve. You can't go to maps. You can't use a crafting bench. You can't do anything but delve, which is really weird. Be curious how that turns out. But
yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate that this is bad. Like that's probably my favorite thing in PoE. Mm-hmm. And so I would be like, this is interesting to me. This is something where I'm like, dude, I'm interested in doing this. That's the worst. God, it's the worst date ever. The 11th? Come on, man. Cyberpunk drops the day before that. You can't and PoE even knows. Like, right. But that's just super unfortunate timing.
Yeah. It is like of the 3 mini leagues, this one I think is the most interesting. I think the other ones like the loot insanity will be interesting as well, and it will feel good to get crazy drops. But I think this is the most like interesting mechanic wise. Like it's very unique, and like people could like maybe not even be able to progress and stuff like that because.
Are they turning difficulty modifiers up for this delve thing too?
I don't think so.
So it's just like noobs would like me would be able to maybe like not get killed instantly and be like, oh, this is really cool, and I get some shit.
Yeah, I think you can always go sideways in delve. You don't have to go deeper. So
yeah, that's what she said.
Wow.
So
but yeah, okay. Here we go. Chat, everybody go make a coffee. Go eat dinner. PChild is now going to talk about, I believe it's pronounced World of Warcraft.
Do I have to? Are you forcing
mom and pop indie game? I mean, I told you, give us the lowdown. So you've been playing it for a week,
1 million
now.
Hours. Yeah.
What is your uptime? What is your actual uptime?
Oh God, I don't even know, man. Like 10 hours a day, easy plus.
Pretty good. That's pretty hardcore 20, for you. Yeah.
20 on the weekend. I don't know. Like, the season launch, I went 15, and then the next day I went another 15, and the next day I went probably another 12. I mean, the first 3 days I killed myself basically. So this is on like I still have like responsibilities in life. I'm still waking up and like getting my kids on the bus and making them lunch and like helping them with homework, and you know what I'm saying. So like
Sure.
I still have to function.
Pulling up
But yeah, there you go. But it was pretty cool. So the expansion's been good. It's been fun. I would say like, you know, when we did the last like when we did BFA together, if you remember, some of the highlights that we had, I think, were being fresh and having content be difficult. Torghast is a hit. Torghast is a home run, in my opinion. And I'll explain this system to you real quick.
Okay.
So Torghast, you go into Torghast. This is what I'm doing on the screen right now.
Okay, cool.
And you go into Torghast and you start it up. And when you walk in, they give you a choice of 2 different powers. And these powers modify abilities you already have. And an example could be, like I have the choice of when I cast, I'm trying to think of some of the decent ones. When I cast my Fade on my priest, it makes it leaves a clone behind that taunts all the enemies, and they attack that for, you know, until it dies, and when it gets killed, it explodes and kills everything. So like this ability that I really don't use now has this really awesome feature to it. Actually, this isn't Torghast. This is something else. Fast forward a little bit more and you'd probably find it. But anyways, so I go into Torghast and you start off and there's different difficulties, and the highest difficulty available right now is a level 3. So I go into level 3, I go in, I pick my ability, one of 2 choices, and I start killing things. So it starts off, you're pretty much normal player power. And as you progress through, you free little minions in there and you kill bad guys and loot the bad guys for this currency. And the currency lets you buy things from a vendor. 2 different locations, you'll run into a vendor and he's going to sell you upgrade power items that you can spend this currency on. As you kill enemies or kill bosses, you'll see on the screen right now, I'm about to kill this boss. After I kill this boss, he's going to drop one of the power orbs and I pick it up, and then choices of things pop up on screen and I get to pick which one of these choices that I want. So as you progress higher and higher, you get more powerful. Your character gets like really powerful, but it's RNG based on what powers are presented to you that you get to pick, and what modifiers they have on the level. So like the bosses at the end are RNG, like a Greater Rift. There's like a set number of bosses, and at the end you get a random one. It's not the same one every time. So one boss was super overtuned. He absolutely wiped me, and I spent an hour on a run that I got nothing for. You only get payout in Torghast if you complete it.
Damn.
If you fail, you get nothing. So you just wasted your time.
Can you just run it again?
You can. There's no limit. There's no time limit in Torghast. There's no 15-minute timer like a Greater Rift. You can do as much as you want. But the thing is, like, you just don't want to waste an hour of your time, you know, by not getting by failing. So it's kind of your own shoot. Like, how high up should I go? What difficulty should I put it on? Because I want to get loot, you know? Yeah. And so
can you just grind on this, or do you get lockouts?
No. So like the reason that you do this is what's cool now, but I think what's going to ultimately hold it back a little bit is the way you do it now is it gives you a currency that's weekly capped. You can only get so much per week. So they really only incentivized you to run it to up to your weekly limit of cap, you know, which goes back to your point of, I hate this because now I have nothing else to do. Right. But that currency is spent to craft legendary items, which are the most powerful things in the game. So you need to do it to get that currency to craft the legendary, you know, armor pieces that you want. So there's a really powerful thing behind it, but the incentive to daily grind it, I think that this system is so fun. If there were infinite grindable, I think people may not ever even play other game modes. I think people would just Torghast run the whole time because I think it's that good. But some runs you can have really shitty builds because you don't get powers, and powers synergize with each other. So like, you know, early on my druid, it's like, hey, your moonfires at 20 ticks will cause a meteor to come down from the sky and like shit on everything. And it's really cool, right? But I'm playing a feral druid. I don't use moonfire. But then later on, it's like, hey, if you don't have this talent, we'll give it to you for free. And if you already have it, you can pick another one. Well, the talent is you can cast moonfire in feral form, in kitty form. And like, well, I don't use that talent. It's not as good as the other one. But if I get that talent and the moonfire dot talent, those things synergize really well. And then there might be another one that says, hey, if a target has moonfire on it, now it deals 20% less damage. And then there's another one that's like, hey, if you got 3 dots on something, now it takes 50% more damage. So like all these synergies go together. And as you climb the tower, you get more debuff, and it gets harder and harder on top of just, you know, that. So like your power goes up, but the debuff every level goes up too. So as I progress and get higher in this tower, like one of the modifiers today was 3% damage per level. So it's like, level 1's 3%, level 2, 6,
Sure.
9, 12. So as you go up, it's just like, oh man, I'm getting hit fucking hard now. Like I'm gonna get one shot. So but yeah, that was pretty cool. This build this is the boss at the end of the tower you're watching me fight now. I didn't have was that the boss? Yeah, I think that might have been the boss. I'm not sure. I think it was. Yeah, I think I almost died there. If that was the one I'm thinking of, it was actually hard. Like I thought I was gonna die, and I didn't. So I thought I was screwed. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Torghast is fun. It's a good thing.
Can't you only wear remind me, but you can only wear like one legendary or two legendaries in WoW or something?
Only
or you
one. Usually.
Okay. So why would you run?
They let you get more.
I mean, wouldn't there be like a best in slot?
For what are you doing? If you're going to be a healer, then you want to want healing ones. And there might be one that's better for Mythic and one that's better for raiding and one that's better for PvP, and you know what I mean.
So
and
after a while, there's basically no point to running this. And chat's saying like, "Oh, cosmetics," but you're not going to run. I don't know. I would never waste my time on something if it was just for cosmetics.
A lot of WoW players love cosmetics. Yeah. So you can get cosmetics, and then eventually, I don't know. Like I'm not the Torghast expert. I haven't played beta. I didn't research future plans for Torghast. I'm only going on the information that I'm presented right now in the game. So in the game, as just somebody who's playing and getting information from the game, you're locked out to how much you can get per week. And after you get that, there doesn't seem to be a lot of reason to run it, other than maybe potentially unlocking more legendary powers if there's some that it can drop in there. I don't know if you'll get multiples per week. And then cosmetics later on down the road. I think they're gonna maybe add like an unlimited tier where you can just keep climbing the tower as long as forever and put cosmetics behind it. That was an early beta, but they took it out, so could be a thing. I haven't researched it, so that could be a thing. But yeah, man, it's fun. Torghast is fun. Mythic Zeros are a lot of fun because we're underpowered right now, and you go into a Mythic Zero with shitty item level, and you're struggle bussing, and it makes it really fun to learn mechanics, learn the dungeons, and then be under geared, and it just makes those wins super fun. PvP's back. If you're a PvPer, like I love the PvP in WoW. So if you're a PvPer, you can get full sets of equipment that are pretty close to BIS just by doing PvP. You don't even have to step into raids and PvE content if you don't want to. So that's cool.
So what's the progression? It's you log in, you go do like heroics still, or what?
Well, it depends. So there's 2 weekly things that you need to do. You need to get your renown ranked up as high as you can in the week, which so far seems to be 2 ranks per week. So you can log in and work towards those goals. One of them is just to collect enema, which drops from doing lots of various activities, but a lot of people get it through world quests. If you don't like world quests, you can get it in PvP. You can get it by doing dungeons. There's other ways. So you want to get that done on the week for sure. And then you want to get your Torghast runs for the week to get your legendary power. Once you cap those 2 things, those are your 2 power holdbacks. Everything else is kind of like, well, do you want to do it or not? So like, do you want to get geared up? Well, then you can go do Mythic. Mythic Zeros is the highest loot in the game right now. In a week, it's going to be you do the raid, when the raid drops, or do Arena and get conquest points and do that. So, but right now for me, it's log in, do my weeklies, do my Mythics, and go PvP for fun, So
cool.
So yeah. So people are saying that this week is going to be 6. That's not confirmed from what I can find. It's 5. You get 2. The first week you started at 1 because of the introductory quest, and then you can get 2, I think. So nobody's been able to provide me with information on the 3rd renown rank, just the FYI. So
where does this expansion rank for you in terms of?
It's good, man. Tops. It's up there. It's equally as good as my favorites. So it's still honeymoon phase. It's it's been a week. So
I think we'll know, like, is this worth playing if December 10th you're still playing WoW?
No, December 10th I'm playing Cyberpunk, man.
So then this expansion is trash.
No, it's not trash.
That's literally the answer right there, team.
It's not trash, man.
He's gonna ditch it for Cyberpunk.
Listen, the thing will be the real test will be if December, in the week of December 10th, if I still log in to do my weekly shit on WoW, or if I just completely abandon ship. You know what I mean?
Can you get how long does it take to do weekly stuff? Can you get it done in like a night?
I could get it done in yeah. I could get it done in a night. I could get it done in like 5 hours, 5 or 6 hours.
Are they turning World of Warcraft into like an alt game? Like where you're just like the whole game's designed to just have like 10 different characters or something?
No, I mean it just depends on what you want to do. Like you're absolutely required weekly gates, time gates. Your time gates for weekly power, you can get done in a night. But to get the gear and the other things, you got to put in more time. So could I run all my mythics in a night and do my Ash and do my Renown in one night? No. I worked on it today all day. I played for 8 hours today, and I got my weekly Ash done. I got my Torghast runs done, and I did half of the mythics. So I still have half the mythics left to completely be like, okay, this one character can't get any more powerful this week unless I do PvP. So, you know. But
is there any type of solo progression in World of Warcraft? Like if you can be like, I don't want to do mythics, I don't want to do raids, can I still get more gear?
No, you got to play with people. like
game's garbage.
Well, because you got to do dungeons, man. Dungeons take people. You got to do battlegrounds or PvP that takes people. You're not going to PvP yourself. You know, you can't raid by yourself. You can't dungeon by yourself. You can Torghast by yourself. You know, so you can't SSF WoW though, dude.
Sucks.
No, it doesn't.
The game sucks then. No SSF?
Doesn't work.
Trash.
Yeah. Massive multi, you know, so.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Why don't you like Cyberpunk? You can play that by yourself and get more powerful and progress.
Where's the competitive? Like, do I shit on other players that
you can't competitive by yourself?
Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can.
You could competitive Cyberpunk by yourself.
No, you can't. There's no competitive aspect to Cyberpunk.
Sure.
What is it like? Hey guys, come over to my house and look what I did on my character. Smile.
Yeah. You're a streamer. You could just be on stream. Like, look at my achievements. Yeah, I don't know. It's good though, man. Like I said, I know this is a ARPG podcast, so I actually feel a little cringe talking about WoW. You're baiting me into it, but about this long a while. But it's fun. I'm having a good time. It would have been fun to do. I think the expansion start is up your alley when we can do the Mythic Zeros and struggle and learn mechanics and do all that, dude. It's a blast. It's actually a lot of fun. So I've been having a good time with it.
Sure. Maybe under different circumstances, but 2-3 days after the season started Diablo, fuck no.
Have you seen this? I want to talk about different topic of scalpers. I want to talk about this scalper thing, man. Have you seen? Yes, scalpers.
Ticket scalpers?
PS5s.
Oh.
Video cards.
Oh yeah,
This is the new thing, man. Like this thing is becoming ridiculous. It's like any kind of tech. This is like a PChild hates segment. I'm flipping roles on you, man. This is a PChild hates. Like I am literally losing my shit watching all the scalpers for graphics cards and PlayStations and VR headsets and just basically anything cool. You know, any cool tech. It's insane right now. I'm sitting there refreshing pages and it's like coming soon, out of stock. Like, what are you talking about, man? Apparently now Nvidia has sold $175 million worth of graphics cards to cryptocurrency farmers. So now if you wanted a new graphics card and you're trying to build a new computer on Cyber Monday or Black Friday or for Christmas or maybe your birthday, whatever, just maybe because you want to, good luck getting a graphics card at MSRP because scalpers have bought all of them.
So it's like it's almost, we had that long period of time where memory was out of control because everyone was farming Bitcoin. But now it's just scalpers. Scalpers is the new Bitcoin.
It's the same thing. It's the Bitcoin farmer guys, and they just have bots set up or scalpers, like one of the two. Like the average consumer can't get your hands on this shit. It's impossible. It's literally so. I maybe have secured a 3080 but I had to get on the phone with a guy that got a whole bunch of shipment from EVGA, and he's an honest dude, and he's like verifying that you're a real person, not some piece of shit. And I, pulled some cards and favors to get one. So maybe, I bought it. We'll see if it actually ships out.
Right.
So, but it's like the amount of hoops. I've been trying to get one for 3 months, and it's like I'm in the scene. I understand how this shit works, and I still can't get my hands on one.
Sure.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. It drives me crazy, and it almost, and people, and so like I hear people arguing about, that's just the way the market's supposed to work, and supply and demand and all this and that. If they made enough supply, the demand wouldn't be there. The scalpers couldn't sell it. Just like, no, man. Like, this shit should be illegal to me. It's like you're buying all the stock, you're buying 3,500 PlayStations, and then you're selling them on eBay for triple the price. Like, how is eBay not feeling like assholes about this?
Yeah,
And
I wonder, like,
man,
where does that have to get for intervention, right? Because they had the scammers for toilet paper, right? And then the government stepped in and was like, bro, no, we're gonna seize all that fucking toilet paper, you son of a bitch. But
right?
like, how far does that have to go for it to turn into that? I wonder.
Yeah, it's getting nutty, and it's almost like, to me, it's like I'm all about an open market and supply and demand and people being able to set prices. But if a manufacturer is like setting MSRP and then people are buying all of them and then reselling it, like, it's got to be illegal somehow. And if it's not, it should be considered, because it's like, dude, this is nuts for so many. Yeah, I'm frustrated with the system because I am a consumer that wants to get things that are being scalped really hard right now. So to me, it's frustrating because it's like, oh, I can't get my kids the Christmas presents I want to get them because some dick wants to flip it for 3 times the profit, or I can't buy a graphic. I've been trying to buy a new graphics card for 3 months, can't get it because people are selling them on eBay for triple the value, and it's just like, damn, dude. So I don't know, man. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think government should regulate some of these things, or is this open?
Yeah, it does. It does kind of suck. I'm a big proponent for like less government, but like, I mean, it does suck that we don't have like technology in place. It's like, oh, you're trying to sell this item, it's worth this. Like, like you can't do that, right? Unless it's like, a heavily modded car or something like you're selling it for more than the value of the car because it's like got a Hemi in it or something,
like
right?
when the hand sanitizer was a thing, just like you said, man. Remember that dude? There was a story where a guy bought, like, God damn, it was insane, like hundreds of thousands of dollars of hand sanitizer, and he had like a picture in his house, and then the feds came in. And were like,
yeah,
dude,
same thing with toilet paper. Same shit happened.
yeah, it's just like, dude, no, you can't. So that the dude that's got the picture of him, like, I saw a picture on Twitter, and there's a bunch going around, but there's another guy I saw that had like a couple hundred PlayStations and a couple hundred Xboxes like lined up in his living room, and he's sitting there like doing some stupid ass money pose, like, oh, look at me. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, man, how fucking cool would it be if the feds kicked his door in and took his $1 million of inventory? You know what I mean? So
yeah, what a douche.
Yeah, it was so, it's like that
like real life Twitch chat.
Yeah, like the image flip, like meme of the scumbag Steve. Do you know that guy? The one that's got like the hat on and shit. It's like him. He's doing like some, like, he's like this, trying to pose all cool with his PlayStation. So.
Okay, well,
anyway, that's my.
If you do PChild hates, I guess I have to do Fluff loves. Like, what is this?
Okay.
I don't. This is the only week this is gonna happen, right? Hates is mine.
Okay. What do you love though?
Acapulco was really cool. It was really, really beautiful. Don't be afraid to go there. Don't do stupid shit, obviously, because cartels are still a thing.
Okay, so what did you do there? Like, what was the coolest thing? Like, we don't have time for the whole trip, right? But
honestly, this trip was very unlike the trips I take, because is very much a let's go there to relax. We have not relaxed on vacation for a really long time, so it was like go there and go to a nice resort, because normally these resorts are places I would never stay because they're like $500 a night, or one of the places we stayed was like literally minimum $1,500 a night usually, but because of Corona we can get it for like $200.
Yeah,
and
was it inclusive food and everything?
No, not inclusive, but like they give you like a credit or something, but we burned through that pretty fast with our drinking habits and eating habits. But it's a beautiful spot. Super the water. I mean, it's the Pacific, so I expected it to be freezing, but the water was like beautiful and it's awesome. It was really, really pretty. Acapulco is set up in such a way that like you're not really like on the beach in most like nice places. You're kind of like overlooking these like kind of grand views of the ocean and cliffs and stuff like that. It's really, really pretty. But yeah, it was awesome.
Nice.
And you know, next week, if you guys didn't know, we don't have the podcast.
Yeah, no.
Thursday, I'm leaving to motorbike across Costa Rica. It's the first solo international motorcycle trip I've ever done. So slightly freaking out there. I also did get destroyed by mosquitoes when I was in Mexico, like really bad. It's like all over both my legs. And I know that Costa Rica has like mosquitoes like the size of your face. So I'm kind of freaking out about that.
Wait, and you were trying to get me to go to these places?
Yeah, and a little cherry on top. So just to give you guys a quick sneak peek at the beautiful weather that's happening in Costa Rica right now. Costa Rica is facing this is a live feed.
A live feed. If you guys are listening to the podcast and you can't see, it looks like a fucking hurricane's going through Costa Rica right now.
So apparently Costa Rica is facing like one of the worst rainy seasons it's ever had. This is supposed to be kind of like the tail end of the rainy season, so it is a roll the dice either way, but which sucks too, because the only reason I chose these dates was because like my neighbor was supposed to go with me, and these days worked for him, and then he bailed and backed out, and so like I got locked into these fucking dates, and so fuck you, neighbor. But yeah, so apparently it's like one of the worst rainy seasons they've had in quite some time. So just like
I'm so glad I'm
landslides happening and flooding happening, and we're gonna do it on a motorbike, no problem.
So this could potentially be the last new meta. Hey, are you gonna send me like login credentials for your Twitch account in case you don't make it back? You should hook me and just send them to me, and that way I can at least post an update. I'll post it. You're like, you know, your obituary on there, and I'll do a nice thing for you.
Thanks.
Fluff. I'm like, listen, Fluff's never gonna stream again. I'm sorry, you know.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay. You put it in a sealed envelope and just leave it on your desk.
My will, my Twitch key in my will.
If something happens, then just Lindsay can text it to me, and
you just take over my stream. You're like, yo, what's going on, guys? Lord Fluffy.
I'm like, hey, it's your boy, Lord Fluffy.
Yeah, I mean, you get more views, so.
Wow.
Oh, shit. Love you.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Hold
on. I'm going to turn something nasty on my camera. Hold on. Pulling up Pornhub on my phone real fast. I'm just going to do this and get you banned.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, that's pretty much all we had in the schedule. Do you have any Twitter questions?
Yeah. And that's it. Let's hit up some Twitter questions.
Let's do it.
Let's see. The first, if you guys want to submit questions to the podcast, you can submit at ThaPChild, at Lord__Fluffy on Twitter, or we each have a new meta section in our Discords. The first episode comes from Banezap. Banezap says, "What's a better logo, Fluff's current logo or the hamster?"
Have you seen this?
I don't know what this? No, okay. I haven't.
So let me give you a quick story. It's not a long story. It's a quick one.
Okay.
So originally I had like my Lord Fluffy logo, this thing. Like Lindsay designed it. She's not an artist, but she kind of designed the thing. And we took it to a guy and he made a thing. And it was like okay. It was never like super polished. And so like before BlizzCon 2018, I was like, I went to like an actual artist and was like, hey man, can you kind of clean it up and you know, make it look nice.
Logo switch over.
And so I got this thing made and it's way cleaner and I like it. But as part of this project, I was like, hey, and if you want to, you know, I've given you this thing. If you want to like take it and like use your own creativity and come up with something totally new, because this is kind of like your world, by all means, like go for it. It's just like, cool, man, I'll come up with something. So he came up with this. That was his artistic view of Lord Fluffy.
Well, if he doesn't know about your stream, I mean, Fluffy, it's a fluffy little
hamster, I guess. I don't know.
Creature. Yeah, it looks like a fucking Pokemon or some shit. But he made you a fluffy little creature.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't know anything about your stream but the name, You know, like I get it. I get
Sure.
where he's going. It's
Sure.
okay. That's an okay. I like it. I think you should go with it.
If I was like a Hammond main in Overwatch, this would totally be
Yeah,
my
that'd be
logo.
your thing, man. You know, if he watched your stream and saw your ego, he probably just could have drawn like a bobblehead of you on there. You know, dude, have you thought about that? You could make Lord Fluffy bobbleheads if you could find somebody to make a bobblehead for you. Big ass head on this little body, dude. Those would sell. Those would be huge. You know. Yeah. So, so the question is, what's better, this one,
Yeah.
or
This
the
one
hamster?
or this one?
Yeah. Hamster.
Yeah,
Honestly,
fuck you, P. Fuck you, dude.
I kind of like the hamster one more. So. Maester Magus says, if a stat squish, what's an acceptable level for ultra endgame pushing? Greater Rift 70, Greater Rift 100. What level do you aim for casuals?
I guess to me the question becomes how much more life do we want out of Diablo 3? If we want 2-3 more years, probably make it as low as you can. If we have like a year and a half left, like let's make it 100. I think 100 is a good spot.
Yeah. They creep pretty hard every season, man.
Yeah.
I would say so the thing that throws me off is the level 90, right? So the GR 90 is max loot per hour. And so I think that factors in heavily in my decision, because whatever GR you push is also what torment you're going to push, assuming that they're just going to keep the drop rates the same. If they don't screw with drop rates, then I would say take us back down to T10 range, being the highest torment we have. And then, so that would put GR T10 is what? GR 50? 40? I don't even know. Can you look that up real fast?
Yeah, I
Like,
can
you got your
actually.
thing? What I think, so I would say whatever a GR10 is, that should be this a little, maybe 5 or 10 higher than that for the speed farmish area. And then
These are a little off, but 45 is T10.
45. Okay, yeah. So I would say 60 is speed farm, and then so what would that make a push? 80, 90? Yeah, I'll say like 90. Yeah, I'm down with that. Because 90 is your drop cap. So if your end game goal is pushing 90s as for a casual, if you're starting to finally get a couple 90s down, then that's rewarding to you too. You're like, oh man, I got a couple extra legendaries. So that's what I'll say. 0012 says, what's the most valuable item in your house that has a value of less than $1?
We've got some sand and like a vial from the Sahara. It's just sand.
Is it valuable?
No, but it's like he's saying it's not valuable. It's valuable to you.
Yeah, the most valuable item in your house that has a value of less than $1. So like, what's the most? I don't think it means valuable as in terms of money. I think value. What's the most valued item in your house? Maybe is what they
so
meant.
like personal value that's worth nothing.
I'm gonna go with usefulness. I'm gonna go with usefulness value.
Okay.
For $1, you can't really buy much for $1.
No.
You know what I mean?
Remember like the dollar stores? Now it's like $5 stores. Like, that's great. Yeah.
I mean, toilet paper? Is toilet paper $1? That's pretty damn valuable, man. You know? I think if you didn't have it.
What about something that's not finite? Because eventually you're gonna wipe your ass and not have that
run out.
Paper. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. You couldn't go get that sand in the Sahara for $1.
No.
Did it cost you $1 at the place?
No,
the shop?
I scooped it up. You know.
Oh, I don't even know. I'll say cheap and not a cheaper item. That's really hard to think about.
Yeah.
Like what's something that you would really hate to live without that you love? It's cheap. I don't know. I got nothing, man. I really can't think of anything. So I'm sorry. What's the most unfortunate? Oh, I'm sorry. Alucard says, what's the most unfortunate first name, last name combo you can think of?
Oh my God. I think we actually maybe very, very early podcasts this was mentioned, but I, no joke, went to high school with a kid named Ben Dover.
What the fuck? His parents hated him, dude.
And I shit you not, it gets worse because his mom's name was
Oh, no.
Eileen Dover.
No,
Swear to God.
No, it's
God.
not,
Yep.
man. This who the
Fucked up
fuck?
sense
Okay,
of
well,
humor.
she got married into it. That's not her fault, but it is. She was pissed. You know what it was, man? She was pissed at all the fucking jokes she got her whole life, and she's like, "I'm paying somebody back. I'm naming."
It's like, you think Eileen Dover's bad? All right, Ben. See how
Yeah,
you
right?
fare.
You're right. Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, he got made fun of for it. Like, what a terrible parent.
Yeah, so like, you know, obviously there's a male anatomy part that people use as for the short name of Richard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if that gets us in trouble on YouTube's if we say it, but the short name for Richard, and then, man, what could you pair that? I mean, there's so many things you could pair that with. It's just infinite. Like, I don't know. Yeah, you can think of some stuff. I don't think I've known anybody that had anything bad though. Like I never met. I'm just going through a history of school. I don't think anybody had really that name. Like that bend over guy. Like, dude, poor was he weird? Like he was socially.
I mean,
weird
he was socially stunted because his whole life he's
because people
fucking
were
made fun of. Yeah,
like people hated him. You know what I mean? Quirk says, "What video game character death broke your heart?"
This is all. I mean, what lore? No, I mean, I guess if I had to pick one, you know,
it's the same one.
Final Fantasy VII, Ares, I guess.
Yeah, Ares. Come on.
It's so cringe thinking back on a time in my life where I like watched cutscenes. It's hard to even remember. Deckard Cain? No. This is Butterfly, bro. He had it coming.
Deckard Cain. Yeah. You know, it really. I wasn't like heartbroken, but when they killed Cade 6 in Destiny, I was a little bit like, really? Damn, dude. I like Cade. Cade was cool as hell. That one bugs me a little bit. And the thing about it, I think, is that if you're playing a very good video game and a character dies, like that character should be dead. Like if they bring him back, then it devalues death in the game, and then you don't ever have the same response in that same game. So once Cade died, I knew he's not coming back. When Aerith died in 7, I was like, she's not really dead though, right? Like you're kind of in denial for a while. You're like, there's going to be a way to get her back, right? And then they don't. You're just like, damn, dude.
Cast revive, bro. Like what the fuck?
Like I know, right? Like Phoenix down that bitch. Come on, take this, quaff this shit. So, Bill Oak says you're given the power to make one Oh my God. Bill Oak says you're given the power to make one person shit their pants at the moment of your choosing. Who do you pick?
PChild now.
And win. Who do you pick and win? Oh man.
Ooh.
I know, but Wyatt Chang would say.
Yeah, let's do open mic again at BlizzCon next year. Let's make sure Lord Fluffy gets a spot.
Hey, we can do a panel with Fluff. We need to make sure he's standing up, and we need to make sure we have a couple rear-facing cameras also. Yeah. He's like, so are you guys gonna bring this to PC at any point? Go. Yeah. I don't know, man. Who would you pick? What would be like a hilarious? I'm assuming it's gonna be super loud and like tragic, right?
Yeah. Like movie moment.
Yeah. So, you know, I think back to my high school days, and you know, there were some teachers that were complete dicks, you know, and it would have been kind of fun at an assembly or two to be like, boom, get them. But I don't know. Do I want to waste it on that when you could get somebody iconic?
Yeah, what was the last time? I feel like there's been a moment where we both strongly disliked someone or something, and I don't know. In the past like decade, I have a really hard time thinking of people that I really have a hard time liking in the past.
For me, it would be more comedic, I think, because I don't
Sure.
really hate anybody. Like I don't care enough about anybody else to hate them,
Sure.
you know. But for a comedic thing, like, you know, somebody's up there giving a speech. I'm not going to name
names. Is it comedic
names,
though? Because it's like kind of like,
it'd be funny.
career shattering, image shattering kind of thing to happen to someone. It's gonna be in every meme video. Like the Shia LaBeouf green screen's gone. It's just you crapping your pants.
Okay, so like here's something that happened over the weekend. I don't know if you paid any attention to this, but so I guess there was a Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fight. Okay, so Mike Tyson's old. Roy Jones Jr. was a really was a really famous. Roy Jones was undefeated, I think.
Oh my god!
And he's been retired for a while. Like both, the best of the best, right? So they fought, and in that card, they had the YouTuber Nate Robinson, who was like a really short basketball player, dunk champion. I think he might have been an NBA champion on various teams where he wasn't the superstar, the main guy, but I think he has a ring or two. Fought the YouTuber Jake. What was his name? It's Jake Paul.
Yeah,
is that his name?
Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
one of the Paul guys. And so if you haven't seen it, spoilers, earmuffs, if you actually care and want to see it. But in that, Jake knocked Nate the F out. I mean, like as brutal knockout. He clips him with the right hook. Nate goes face first into the canvas, ass in the air, asleep, like done. Okay. Nate Robinson is a professional athlete, played on NBA teams. He's got rings. He's got a dunk championship. This dude is going to be remembered now for fucking ever as the guy that got face planted by a YouTuber. You know what I mean? Like, if you haven't seen the clip, by the way, you should Google it. It's nasty. It's hilarious. It's pretty funny. But like, I don't know, man. When you see something like that, you kind of feel bad. I feel bad for him. I'm like, damn, Nate. You know what I mean? Like, damn. I don't know,
it's like it's almost like the same thing. I say it all the time. Like with Wyatt. Wyatt did so much for Diablo and Diablo 3, and I just kind of feel at the end of the day he's going to be remembered for that one moment at BlizzCon 2018, and that just, to me, that sucks.
Yeah, it's totally true. And it's like Wyatt's going to go down as the Diablo Immortal guy.
Yeah,
and it's like Wyatt was like Diablo 3. Like the guy for Diablo 3, and even did work on Diablo 2. So it's like, yeah, he's like the Diablo guy, not just the Immortal guy.
Right.
Is what it is. That's it, man. That's all the questions.
Easy.
If I had the power, I don't think I ever answered the question, but I would pick I don't know, man. I'd pick some politician. I'd just have fun.
Sure. Current president.
All right. If you guys want to catch more of me, you can see me at ThaPChild on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all the places.
Yeah. I'm Lord_Fluffy, doubles underscores on the Twitter. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks if I am alive.
2 weeks, yeah, not next week. 2 weeks for episode 125.
Yeah,
we're gonna go with that.
Peace.
We'll see you in 2 weeks, and I'll know the episode.
Yeah.